Nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhavati uttamasloke bhakti bhavati naistike. Hare Krishna, everyone. Reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, text, the disappearance of Lord Krishna, text 1. Sri Sutta Goswami said, Arjuna went to Dwarka to see Lord Krishna and other friends, and also to learn from the Lord of his next activities. Text 2. A few months passed and Arjuna did not return. Maharaj Yudhisthira then began to observe some inauspiciousness omens, which were fearful in themselves. Text 3. He saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regularities. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful. And he saw that they were adopting full means of livelihood. Text 4. All ordinary transactions and dealings became polluted with cheating, even between friends. And in familial affairs, there was also misunderstanding between fathers, mothers, and sons, between well-wishers, and between brothers. Even between husband and wife, there was always strain and quarrel. Text 5. In course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaj Yudhisthira, observing all these omens, spoke to his younger brother. Text 6. Maharaj Yudhisthira said to his younger brother, Bhimasen, I sent Arjuna to Dwarka to meet his friends and to learn from the personality of Godhead Krishna of his program of work. Text 7. Since he departed, 7 months has passed, yet he has not yet returned. I do not know factually how things are going there. Text 8. Is he going to quit his earthly pastimes, as Devarshi Narada indicated? Has that time already arrived? Text 9. From him only, all our kingly opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to his causeless mercy upon us. Text 10. Just see, O man with a tiger's strength, how many miseries due to celestial influences, earthly reactions, and bodily pains, all very dangerous in themselves, are foreboding danger in the near future by deluding our intelligence. Text 11. The left side of my body, my thighs, arms, and eyes are all quivering again and again. I am having heart palpitations due to fear. All this indicates undesirable happenings. Text 12. Just see, O Bhim, how the she-jackal cries at the rising sun and vomits fire, and how the dog barks at me fearlessly. Text 13. O Bhimasen, tiger amongst men, now useful animals like cows are passing me on my left side, and lower animals like the asses are circumambulating me. My horses appear to weep upon seeing me. Text 14. Just see, this pigeon is like a messenger of death. The shrieks of the owls and their rival crows make my heart tremble. It appears that they want to make a void of the whole universe. Text 15. Just see how the smoke encircles the sky. It appears that the earth and mountains are throbbing. Just hear the cloudless thunder and see the bolts from the blue. Text 16. The wind blows violently, blasting dust everywhere and created darkness. Clouds are raining everywhere with bloody disasters. Text 17. The rays of the sun are declining, and the stars appear to be fighting among themselves. Confused living entities appear to be ablaze and weeping. Text 18. Rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs, and the mine are all perturbed. Butter no longer ignites fire. What is this extraordinary time? What is going to happen? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madhavi. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Aradhya, whenever you're ready, you can start, Madhavi.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are summarizing few verses from chapter 14, the disappearance of Krishna, of Lord Krishna. So just to give a little background from the previous chapter, since we are starting from verse 1 today. So we have seen how Dhritarashtra, because of his association with Vidurji, attained liberation. He was able to attain great success in his life, and real success is spiritual success. Material accomplishments are all temporary, and therefore they are considered illusory. But Vidura was so compassionate to his brother Dhritarashtra that even though Dhritarashtra was very sinful, although he was spiritually blind, he gave him vision. So Dhritarashtra attained liberation. He and Gandhari both went to forest and died in the forest, and they attained higher liberation. Vidurji continued his pilgrimage. He had come to Hastinapur only to deliver Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. Having accomplished that, he returned to Hastinapur, but he continues on his pilgrimage because he had taken Vanaprastha. So now, Sutta Goswami is telling us what's happening in Hastinapur. Yudhishthira Maharaj is anxious that his uncles have suddenly disappeared, and auntie has also disappeared. And as he's asking Sanjay, who is the secretary of Maharaj Dhritarashtra, Sripad Narad Muni comes there and narrates everything to Yudhishthira Maharaj, that do not chase after Dhritarashtra Maharaj. Don't try to find him. Near the Himalayas, he's performing tapasya, and 5 days from now, he'll attain mukti. So don't worry about him. His body will be consumed by Agni. So there is no need for you to worry about his funeral rites and all. So everything will be taken care of. That's what he said. So in this way, Yudhishthira Maharaj composed himself and continued ruling like an ideal king. It is said that approximately 35 years Yudhishthira Maharaj ruled in total after the Kurukshetra war. Now Arjun, who is a very dear friend of Krishna, eternal associate of Lord Krishna, he went to Dwarka, and Sri Sutta Goswami is changing gear, and he's coming back to Hastinapur, that Yudhishthira Maharaj is ruling in Hastinapur, and his brother Arjun has gone to Dwarka to see Krishna, which is the nature of the devotee, and they always want to see Krishna. So we'll start with, that was just a little background from chapter 13. So we are starting from text 1. So in text 1 and 2, so Arjuna went to see Dwarka, and we'll see that in the purport from Srila Prabhupada, it says that the Lord descends to the earth for the protection of the faithful and annihilation of the impious. So after the battle of Kurukshetra and establishment of Maharaj Yudhishthira, the mission of the Lord was complete. So the Pandavas, especially Sri Arjuna, were eternal companions of the Lord, and therefore Arjuna went to Dwarka to hear from the Lord of his next program of work. Among all Pandavas, although they were all great devotees, but the best among them was Arjuna. Srila Prabhupada writes, especially Sri Arjuna, and all 5 brothers were Nitya Siddhas. So Arjuna went to Dwarka to see Krishna and see the next program. His next Leela is he wanted to assist. Arjuna always assists Krishna. In text 2, just a little elaboration in that is that Arjun had gone to see Krishna, and already a few months had passed, and he didn't return yet. So Maharaj Yudhishthira began noticing some inauspicious omens. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is more powerful than the most powerful sun of our experience. So in our experience, sun is very powerful, Srila Prabhupada says. Life cannot exist without the sun. Krishna is a source of sun and all the planets that's around here in the cosmos. Maharaj Yudhishthira observed some discrepancies in his kingdom, and therefore he became very anxious about Arjun, who was long absent, and there was also no news about Dwarka's well-being. Usually some messages would come, some travelers would give some news, or Arjuna was supposed to return and bring some news, but he didn't return. And so there was no news of Dwarka. So Maharaj Yudhishthira became very anxious. He suspected the disappearance of Lord Krishna. Otherwise, there would have been no possibility of fearful omens. So the Siddhanta here is that inauspiciousness happens when there is absence of Krishna, and because Krishna is all auspicious. So in texts 3 and 4, it talks about the inauspicious omens observed by Maharaj Yudhishthira. So in text 3, he saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, meaning irregular things started happening. And this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regularities. Seasons were changed. Even today, we see there is rain, not during the monsoon season, but sometimes the monsoon is delayed. Sometimes it goes too long, like that. Sometimes there's no winter. So the change in normal seasons, it is a sign of Kali Yuga. Previously, seasons were very regular. In Vrindavan, there are 6 seasons. And people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful. So these are the sign of Kali Yuga. And we saw that in the purport, it talks about they were adopting foul means of livelihood. People in Kali Yuga will take to occupation where they earn money by foul means. One example is that we get spam calls all the time nowadays. And we as devotee, we have to be very careful. We cannot trust people easily. Also be conscious of our thoughts as well. We have to be in good association. In the last sentence, Srila Prabhupada says that ignorance is the cause of all these anomalies in human society. And to remove ignorance, especially in the age of degradation, the powerful sun is there to distribute light in shape of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, we need to spend time to read and study Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, we'll continue with text 4 again. All ordinary transactions and dealings became polluted with cheating, even between friends, all Kali Yuga affairs, and in familiar affairs. There was always misunderstanding between fathers, mothers, sons, between well-wishers, and between brothers. Even between husbands, wives, there are always strain and quarrels. So in all these relationships, there will be fights. So if we are quarreling, then we are Kali Chelas. We have to live without quarrel. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, I'm going to pull up the purport really quickly. that a conditioned living being is endowed with 4 principles of malpractice. It talks about errors, namely errors, which means we make mistakes. Insanity means we become illusioned. Inability, because our senses are defective. And cheating, we have tendency to cheat others. So these are the 4 defects of conditioned living beings. That is, we make mistakes, become illusioned, detect our senses are defective because of conditional living being, and we have propensity to cheat others. The word of acharyas or mahatmas, they don't have these 4 defects. They're all perfect. And these are the signs of imperfection. And out of the propensity to cheat others is the most prominent. Cheating could be anything. That is, we may try to portray ourselves more advanced than others, lying, cheating others, think that we are very good, putting up a show in front of others to hide our defects. This is the nature of conditioned souls. So you know that if you know that we're doing these things, we should know that we are conditioned souls. We should be careful. A Vaishnava is very plain and simple. And in the last sentence of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that Maharaj Yudhishthira, having observed the disparities, conjectured the disappearance of Lord from the earth. So here Maharaj Yudhishthira understood that Lord Krishna must have disappeared because all these inauspicious things were visible. So text from 5 to 10, he's seeing all these bad omens, and Yudhishthira spoke to his brother Bhima. So I'm just talking about from the purport that in course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. So here we understand that we get useful to sinful activities if we don't take any actions. It is a human nature if we are exposed to sinful activities for a long time. We feel guilty. No, we stop feeling guilty. We become accustomed to greed. We become accustomed to anger. We become accustomed to pride, etc. So Maharaj Yudhishthira is observing all these omens, and that's when he spoke to his younger brother Bhima. Text 6, continuing the conversation, he said to Maharaj Yudhishthira said to his younger brother Bhimsen that I sent Arjun to Dwarka to meet his friends and to learn from the personality of Godhead, Krishna, of his next program of work. So what's the plan of, and what is the plan of Krishna? Maharaj Yudhishthira was very anxious that what has happened to Arjun? He has not returned, and it's been 7 months. I don't know what's happening in Dwarka. So he's having all these thoughts. And in text 8, Maharaj Yudhishthira is wondering if this is a very important verse of the day. So Maharaj Yudhishthira is wondering, is Krishna ending his earthly pastimes as Devarshi Narad Muni indicated? Has that time already arrived? So as Narada indicated, so we have to figure out when did Narad Muni indicate. So in chapter 13, text 49 and 50, those are the verses of the day to read from chapter 13 as well, verses 49 and 50. So please refer to those verses for today. So Narad Muni had told Yudhishthira Maharaj that you should stay in this world as long as Krishna is there. And Krishna has come to kill demons, and only a little bit of work has left. And Yudhishthira Maharaj will go. Narad Muni told Yudhishthira Maharaj that you go when that time comes. You also go. In text 9, Yudhishthira Maharaj is telling this to Bhim, that because of Krishna, all of our opulences, good wives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accomplishments in higher planets have become possible. And Yudhishthira Maharaj in this verse is confident that he's going to higher planets, and all this is due to Krishna's causeless mercy upon them. So text 10, so from this purport, we learn that danger comes when our intelligence is bewildered. And Maharaj Yudhishthira is observing so many evil omens. And by the celestial influence of the stars, there are many calamities like excessive heat, cold, rains, or no rains, and the after effects are famine, disease, and epidemic. So the aggregate result is agony of the body and the mind. Man-made material science cannot do anything to counteract these threefold miseries. So miseries like pandemic, terrorism, so many wars. We are able to prevent them? No. Conflicts between countries? No. Crimes? No. So these miseries are going to affect everyone. The only way to avoid these things is Krishna consciousness. So that's text 10. In text 11 to 20, it talks about bad omens experienced by it's more bad omens experienced by Maharaj Yudhishthira. So in text 11, it talks about body, that his left side of the body, thighs, arms, eyes are all quivering, and his heart palpitations are due to fear. So all of these can be removed only by the mercy of the Lord. And undesirable happenings cannot be checked by our material plans. Further bad omens about animals that his experiences, the jackals howling at sunrise and vomiting fire, dog barking fearlessly. So bad omens to come in the near future. That's what he's realizing. And so just a good siddhanta from here is that we have no control over anything, yet we think that we are going to control everyone. We act as if we are going to stay here permanently. And so they are talking about the car, like when we take an example of the cars, that I'm not leasing this car, I own this car. So the car in the form of the body. We have the enjoying spirit, and that keeps us in the material world. So that's just the one siddhanta that we can learn from the text 12 and 13. In 13, he's talking about more bad omens, the inauspiciousness of animals. Text 14, talking about the birds. Pigeon is like a messenger of death. And then from text 15 through 18, it talks about Panchabhutas. So in text 15, it talks about, he says that the sky was very smoky, like a hellish palace place, inauspicious, subtle signs in the material works. Just by, sometimes like it's a Vedic science that just by looking at the face, looking at the palm, we can predict the future. And Maharaj Yudhishthira is just experiences all these bad omens through all this smoke in the sky, mountain throbbing, cloudless thunders, etc. In text 16, more bad omens, dust storms creating darkness, which is not good. From darkness, we have to go to light. So there are clouds raining blood, so very inauspicious. In text 17, more about the appearance that the stars are fighting amongst themselves. People are crying everywhere. In real situation, even nowadays, like we see that people even in USA or any other opulence countries, that they are begging everywhere, and therefore collectively together we are all suffering. Last text of the day is that the rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs, and the mines are all perturbed. And it says that Gilonga No ignited the fire, or it still does that. So mines are perturbed. What's happening? Maharaj Yudhishthira is asking all these questions and all this, describing all this bad omens to his younger brother Bhim. And then from text 20, 19 through 20, it talks about carols, deities, and places, but that will be continued tomorrow. So today's text was text 8, and in chapter 13, verses 49 and 50. And I will stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Let's offer our obeisances. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Let's offer obeisance to all the devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarupesya kupasundabhyevacha paditanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.